Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live with episode 134 here of Sc2 Up and Coming. And as you can see, it'll be another kind of speed run episode tonight, but things are a bit hectic all over the place, so that's kind of how it has to be, sadly. But we do have some stuff to talk about this evening. We've got a recap episode of the MSI Master event and the RedBull BattleGround. So we'll be talking about both of those this evening, and then as well as some of the general news and topics and stuff like that. Again, since it is a solo side of things, we're going to try to speed through and go as quick as possible for all you guys. You can get back to doing all the other fun stuff out there this evening. So getting things started with some of our stuff, if you guys follow the Reddit or StarCraft subreddit there, you might have seen earlier today the announcement that came out about the StarCraft Map Making Association. There's some great map makers that have already kind of band together to help out, and it's been a while since we've had a, I guess, map making team. Like if you guys are familiar with like ESV, TPW, those kind of guys work together to make maps and things like that. But a group of guys that have made previous maps decided to get together, and I am the biggest butcher of names out there, so I'm not even going to attempt to say any of these guys' names because I feel like I'll just mess it up quite a bit. So that is exciting, and we've always talked about previous map making contests and stuff like that on the show, so it's cool to see that there's like a group working together to kind of come up with different maps and everything like that. We'll talk more about these players and maybe highlight a couple of their maps next week and stuff like that, so maybe you guys can get an idea and keep you guys posted if there's any more map making contests. But that is just one of the fun and cool things that we wanted to talk about and stuff like that for our general news. The rest of the general news is kind of older stuff, like we talked a little bit about the patch that's been out for a little bit for Legacy of the Voids. Nothing too crazy going on with that. But there is a team and player change for the week. One a little bit sad to note, Supernova, who has been playing since Wings of Liberty, played in the GSL since 2011. If you guys know who MC is, for whatever reason, maybe you are not familiar with. Well, MC was the first Protoss champion of the GSL, and when he played in the Season 3 finals, he played against Supernova. Supernova and MC were both originally on the same team, OGS, before that disbanded and everything like that, and then he's been bouncing around and was on Root as his most recent team. There was a wonderful write-up that got posted up on TL about him and kind of talking about him as a player and kind of his lead up through things. So I do encourage you guys to check out that and read it if you get a chance. If maybe you weren't familiar with him as a player, it might be a good little synopsis there for you guys. And that was it as our team and player changes. Quick, easy, nothing too major, not some big shakes-ups and anything like that. But we did have a couple stuff to talk about. We talked a little bit about Hell It's About Time last week when we recapped that. But there was a write-up that Zombie Grub and Rifkin, I guess, did, kind of talking about their afterthoughts on the event. And they broke it down pretty nicely. Like, all right, here's how the tournament format went out, and they basically were asking themselves questions and answering it in a sense. Like, is the open bracket stream even necessary? What if we just made it offline? Did this for extra setup and that sort of thing? And we're answering those sort of questions. They talked about attendance at the event, venue, ticket timing, that sort of stuff, tournament schedule. Broke that sort of stuff down, and then the additional costs, like the cost of the event, how things worked out with that. Talked about the crowd, player accommodations, online viewer counts, and they even broke it down by numbers. Like day one peak viewership, I guess was 6,000. They said, 9,000 across all streams. The unique visitors was 42,000. So cool. That's pretty cool to see for day one. Day two, they were sitting at 56,000 unique viewers, and for the finals, day three, they were sitting at 56,000 as well. So solid. I mean, they, could have been better with some of the numbers. They talked about that with there being, I guess, Pokemon World Championship or something like that, League of Legends, CS:GO, so other big events. That it was the only real StarCraft event for the weekend, but there's other games that people enjoy. So that did happen. They also broke down the cost too, which the venue costs, which included the PC rentals for the whole LAN center, was between $1,500 and $2,500. So just a little bit of cost analysis for you guys. The staging cost was per week. They did $1,500 to $3,000 per week. This include risers, backdrops, anything that makes the stage look nice. The staffing costs. How much it costs to staff the event? Well, about the same as the stage cost, $1,500 to $3,000, and that includes the production team, cameramen, producers, stream directors, audio, all that kind of good stuff. Dedicated observers, admins, as well as just like extra volunteers. And apparently, one of the things they talked about is that it's not normal for event organizers to pay for meals for the staff. And I guess they were surprised, that was the case. So they help provide that. But I mean, like 25, 30 people, you're going out and buying a dinner or something for that. That cost goes up exponentially. So, and they said the most expensive printing, $2,000 to $4,000. They were saying how they kept trying to go above and beyond for the event. I mean, this was their first big offline event. Like, they've done online stuff before, but they wanted to do something huge. So they created all this extra stuff, backdrops for the photo booth, extra large banners to cover the windows, just lots and lots of stuff like that. Then they had the miscellaneous costs, like they rented an ice cream truck for a little bit. They spent probably close to $400 on pizzas, just like things like that, and including insurance and everything. They had to insure a lot of the stuff there, so it was cool to see that breakdown, and that's something that it's always nice to see. I know Fear Dragon does that after his events. Total Biscuit has done it previously in the past. So it's just a cool little thing that some of the event organizers set up and everything there. So did want to kind of highlight that. If you want to read it in complete details, go into the blog section. It's under Zombie Grub's blog, so you guys can be able to check that out and enjoy that. So moving along, we do have some tournaments and stuff to talk about. For one, we talked that there is a ongoing team league now, which is set up a Dust League. This is season 1 for that, and it's got a nice spread of the teams. Did want to just kind of highlight our top couple of teams real quick. Basically, all the ones that are in the positive with their points at this point in time. Those that are kind of we'll say our top 5 teams, because there are some teams that may have 0 points going into week number 3 here. But sitting as we are in Group 1, Endurance Esports is 2-0 right now. They are 8-1. Of course, they got that one all kill, giving them lots of points. Ordor Equitum is sitting at 2-0 as well. Same deal with Endurance, 8-1. They got an all kill off there. Dust Gaming is sitting at 2-0. They're 8-3, so looks like they did drop a few matches here and there. Complexity is 1-0. They have not had a chance to play their second week. I'm not sure exactly what happened with that. And then in fifth, we've got Team Exile sitting at 1-2. So it looks like they've already started their third week of matches, and they're 8-9 overall with their points there. So sitting at -1. On group standing B there, we've got Deadly Gaming, who is 2-0. They're 8-0, so they've gotten 2 all kills. So they're at +8 points at this moment in time, so sitting pretty. Team Gravity right behind them, 2-1. They're 10-7 though. So they've already done their week 3 matches. Looking pretty solid in that regard. Psystorm Gaming behind them as well, 2-1, 8-6 for them, and they are sitting there with 2+ points for that one. Team Ascension 1-1, 7-4, and then right beside them in that 5th place spot, Flipside Tactics. So very nice for groups A and B, and that's one of the things we're going to continue to provide you guys with up-to-date coverage of what's going on, since this is SC2 Up and Coming. These are awesome up and coming teams, deserve a little bit of highlight in that regard there. So we'll keep you guys up to date on what's happening with the Dust League. And let's see, Legacy of the Ultras, do we have any updates for you guys in the round robin side of things? Looks like August 29th, we did have a couple matches, Bly and Igus there. Bly ended up winning 3-0. And I think that might have been the only update. Just that one. Yep. So, okay, still a couple matches getting played here and there, like whenever they get a chance. So not too bad going on with that. We do have updates with what's going on with our NA ladder heroes. Since guess what, guys? August is done. Today's the 31st. So we've got our 4 weeks of August all set up for you guys to know who has made it into the kind of monthly final now. And I'll just give a quick rundown for the weeks in case you guys missed them and weren't sure how those have been going, since this is Fear Dragon's newest project he's working on. Week 1, we had Jon Snow take that first place spot, getting himself $38. Peely Peely right behind them in second. That's $13 just from laddering. And then week 2, Peely Peely comes out on top there with Arthur right behind him. I think you guys are familiar with Arthur as a player, so it's nice to see him doing well in the ladder stuff. He constantly is playing on the ladder there. And then week 3 is the reverse of week 2. Arthur gets in first, Peely Peely in second. And week 4, Peely Peely comes back on top in first place, followed by Jon Snow. So the way they get it set up is Peely Peely really was bringing his A game this month and doing lots and lots of laddering. So Peely Peely has the most points going into it. Between all the weeks, he gets 19 for first place and 17 points there for getting in second place. So we had 72 points for the month of August here. Right behind him, Jon Snow got 19 points for his week 1, and then he got 15, 16, 17, so very, very close to those top couple spots there. But he is sitting at ranked second right now, 67 points. Right behind him, Arthur is at 67 points. He had, of course, got 15 points from week 1, 17 from week 2. That was when, of course, he got second, and then he was sitting there at first place in week 3, and then dropped back down to third place with 16 points there for week number 4. Behind him, Believe, BioIce, Jim Rising, EJK, and Psycho there. So we've got our results set up for the end of the month tournament. Peely Peely will be playing Psycho, Believe versus BioIce, Jon Snow versus EJK, and Arthur versus Jim Rising there. So another great setup. And of course, whoever gets first in that gets $230. Second place will be awarded $115, and third place gets $38. So pretty solid just for laddering and playing. So awesome stuff set up. We'll let you guys know how the August event ends up finishing up, but just wanted to kind of highlight that for you guys to enjoy. Moving right along, we do have looks like a couple events to talk about, since it is the recap side of things now. And let's start going over our MSI side of things. So we had our group stage kickoff as of last week. Well, I guess over the weekend for you guys, in case you missed it and were not able to watch. We had the main events take place with Innovation, Hydra, Max Zed, Haas, all in that Group 1. As you can see, Innovation, Hydra advancing in Group B, parting Hyun, advance over Firecake and Ian there. So, falling of the French, it's starting to look like. We also had Group C, SOS, Solar, advance over Tudming and Hearthstone. And then in Group D, Jadong and Violet, advance over Patreus and Pult. What happened with Pult? I mean, he had one match to work on, but he could not. He got out last in his group. He took a game off of Patreus, but everybody else beat him in ZVT there. So I'm not sure what was going on with that. Sadly for Patreus, but the rest of the results look pretty straightforward. We'd expect a lot of the Koreans to be doing very well at that event. Looks like our Taiwanese and Chinese players just not able to solidify themselves, as well as kind of our players from the Netherlands and France. Alright, so let's talk playoffs then. A lot of Zergs advancing through the tournament there. A lot of Zergs participating in the tournament as well. But we had Solar versus Jadong, Hydra and Parting, SOS, Violet, and Innovation and Hyun. So a lot of Zergs were set up in the quarterfinals, but not a lot of Zergs advanced out, actually. Solar versus Jadong in that ZVZ. You would think that Jadong was ready for it, since he had a group pretty much of all Zergs. And was able to get first out of that group. But no, that was not the case. Jadong fell 0-2 to Solar. We did have Parting end up advancing over Hydra there, 2-1. SOS taking out Violet, 2-0. Innovation advancing over Hyun, 2-0. So as it stands, only one Zerg was able to advance, and that was Solar. Solar ended up beating Parting 2-1 in the semifinals. On the other side, SOS took out Innovation. So we had a PBZ finals, and SOS... $0 there ends up taking another victory there for him, which is awesome to see. Going back and deciding, you know what, I have not gotten first yet this year. I think it's time that I at least get one first place finish, since he got first in 2013, 2014, so he needed at least one first place finish as it was standing there. So good on him for doing so well, taking that victory there, and that is helping to push him. He is in the top 16 for the WCS final right now. He is at 13th place, so looking pretty good on how that's going to be solidified for getting him at least to the finals. Yep, but very exciting as it went for the MSI event. Nice to see such good players be able to attend. This, of course, was taking place at PAX, so lots of great stuff was going on there. But we did have another event taking place over the weekend, and that is the RedBull event. In case you guys are not familiar with what's happening with that, there was quite a few teams that were able to play in it. We had two invited teams, Huck and MC, Puck and Bales, and then all of our qualified teams, Don Regu True, Alicia Krang, Beastie QT, QXC, Reality Journey, Heart Ryung, Tasia, and the STC. So it's going to be it was going to be a very exciting event to see how things worked out. Nice mix of teams. They had a good format set up with 3 days of the event. Each team starts out with 3 lives. They have the ability to reflect a challenge, essentially, and they had only one double Zerg team. They were sitting with 3 Protoss teams: Huck, MC, Alicia Crank, Puck, and Bales. Don Regu True were our only Zerg players. Then we had Beast QT QXC, Heart Ryung, Reality Journey, Tasia and the STC there. So the first match started out with Reality and Journey being challenged, but they did reflect that, and it ended up being Huck, MC versus Tasia and the STC, and Huck and MC ended up winning that match. So good start off there. And as you'd expect, it was the continue on. The players would continue to get matched up against each other. But after day one, 2 teams were going to be eliminated, and that's how it was set up. They just keep moving their way down. Day 1, 2 teams eliminated. Day 2, 2 more teams. Day 3, 2 more teams. So after day 1, Huck and MC still had 3 lives. Don Ragu and True still had 3 lives. Alicia Crank and BCQD and QXC both still had 3 lives. Puck Bales and Hart Young sat with 2 lives left, and Reality Journey and Tasia and the STC were eliminated there. So very nice to see that take place. With day 2 kicking off, again, it started out with Huck and MC, and they ended up beating BCQD QXC 2-1. And it just sort of kind of continued with that sort of progress, but BCQ and QXC lost their first match. They won all of their remaining matches for that day. They took out Hart and Young and Alicia and Crank. So the way it's sat is that our 4 teams that were able to advance: Huck, MC, Don Ragu, True, Alicia Crank, and BCQD QXC. Puck and Bales were eliminated there. Hart and Young were eliminated. So nice mix of teams and players that are left. Huck, MC, Don Ragu, True left with 3 lives each. Alicia Crank, BCQT, QXC only have 2. So great set going into the final day, day 3. Huck, MC again, first match of the day, end up losing 1-2 to Alicia and Crank in a PvP battle. BCQT, QXC battle next and end up beating Alicia and Crank 2-1. Then BCQ2 and QXC were challenged, but they reflected and brought it over Alicia Crank versus Don Ragu and True. Don Ragu and True end up winning 2-1 there. Huck and MC were challenged by Don Ragu and True, and they reflected it to BCQT QXC. Saving that reflection for the end was very smart there. Don Ragu and True end up beating them 2-0 there, and then we're set with Huck, MC battle Don Ragu and True, and they end up winning that one 2-0. So the last match, BCQT QXC versus Huck and MC. Huck MC win 2-0, eliminating BCQ2 and QXC. That leaves our 2 teams, Huck MC, Don Ragu and True, both being able to advance with 2 lives left, 2 lives remaining. They both will be able to make it to Washington, D.C. To be able to face against Violet and Masa and Bomber and whoever his teammate is going to be. So things are looking pretty good for Don Ragu and True and Huck and MC. They clearly have been practicing Legacy of the Void. They clearly have very good teamwork and communication together to get through the event. So things are coming up very soon for the RedBull BattleGrounds for DC. That's actually on the 19th there. So we're 20 days away, guys. 20 days away for that being able to kick off. So make sure you guys are keeping your eyes open and hopefully able to attend that. So very exciting on how that's going. Speeding along, though, we do have WCS to talk about since we have been kind of moving along nicely with that. We're getting into the next stages of WCS. We had the round of 32 finish up here. And let's see if I can get that all up for you guys. Because I think all 4 of those rounds, all 4 of the rounds did take place over last week. Group E started off very nicely. We had some of those kind of outliers in there, and Gung Fu Vanda did very, very well for himself as the German powerhouse there, and Lieblo came in second. Neeb put up a good fight. Was not able to end up winning that one, so sad to see him end up falling out. We hadn't seen him for a while, but it was cool to see him get back into Premier. Shayna had 1 master practice, TVP and was not able to do it. It's very tough to deal with some of the European Protoss players. I mean, there are so many European Protoss players. There's so many Protoss players in Europe that it's tough to deal with them. So I can understand him not doing so well, but we got to make fun of you. That's the rule of the show. If you have one match up to practice and you know ahead of time that you only have to worry about that match and you fail, we got to make fun of you. Like Group F, 4GG understood what he needs to do. He's got one match, TVZ, and he came prepared and got first in there. Then it came up with, nice little storyline going on. Xanaster, IA, and Kane. Kane has retired as a pro gamer, but still playing every so often. He's going back to school and everything. But he got last in his group. Xanaster was able to get second. He faced Kane the first round, 2-0'd him. Then it was 4GG playing IA. 4GG won 2-1. IA played Kane. IA ended up beating Kane there, eliminating Xanaster versus 4GG, battled it out. 4GG won, so IA versus Xanaster to see who got second. Xanaster, ZBZ was just too good. Well, Group G was a nice little surprise, I think, for some people. A lot of people were expecting Snoot to end up getting out of that in second. And maybe a lot of people were rooting for Jim in that, since he was one of the best foreign players going into 2015. But now it's coming near the end of it, and he's kind of struggling. Hitman, though, Hitman and Neve, kind of the two American outliers popping up out of nowhere. They hadn't really been seen in WCS very much this year, so that was cool to see Hitman get second out of there over Laser. Very, very nice to see that take place. And our final group, Group H, Mana and Violet advance over TLO and Zegua. Again, we would have made fun of Mana if he was able to get eliminated there. He had one match up to practice, but he did very well in that. So it basically came down to Violet and TLO in the end. TLO, it's that WCS curse, really. TLO beats Violet 2-0 in the first round match. Does not end up beating Mana, though, in that decider match, and so he goes down to face Violet for the final decider. Who will win, Violet or TLO? Violet ends up taking that 2-0. So very nice setup for the round of 32. Great players were able to advance, but now we've got round of 16, guys. A week away from that. Mana, Marine Lord, Elfie, and Xanaster are set up in Group A. We've got Gung Fu Banda, Snoot, Sen, and Petraeus. Group C, Hydra, Polt, Violet, and Hitman. Oh, Hitman, you are in welcome to the round of 16. We'll see you hopefully next year in WCS. Group D, J-Dong, 4GG, iGust, and Libra. Alright, the obvious. Group C, Hydra, Polt, and Violet. If I was Polt, I would probably just practice TVZ. He's got to play Violet round 1. He can assume, alright, I'm going to beat Violet, then I can go and end up playing against Hydra. Or, worst case, I lose. Alright, I play against Hitman, I win that, and then I'm going to have to play nothing but TVZ. So that's going to be interesting to see how Pulp does, because he lost out in the MSI event because he had only to play TVZ. Our other matches we have, Mono showed some great play, starting things off with his group. That was only PVZ though. This time he's got a just complete mix-up. Marine Lord's in there, Elfie's in there, and Xanaster. Great European players, consistent Premier League players as well. None of these guys are like first-timers. These guys have been in Premier League previously. They know how this thing works. So that's going to be interesting to see how things are going to work out for that. Gung Fu Banda, though, has a really strong chance of making it to the playoffs here. Okay, he got out first in his group. He pretty much only had to play PvP, though. Now he's set up with a week. Well, yeah, about a week to, because I don't know when they found out what their groups were going to look like, but he has a week to practice PBZ now. Snoot, Sen, and Petraeus. That is a really, really tough group. And as it stands, you know, Gung Fu should be able to advance out because he's got one matchup to practice, and that should help him. But Snoot and Petraeus, guys, like that's not going to be an easy match to win at all. And it's very possible we could have Snoot and Petraeus just win and Gung Fu does not. So that's going to be interesting to see how that actually plays out in this whole series here. Group D, though, Jaedong, 4GG, Igus, and Liblo. Liblo has been playing well for himself, but he got out second in his group. 4GG just kind of dominated through his group. Same thing for Jaedong. And then Igus did very well at his group there, but that was like an all TVT kind of group. So the obvious ones for Group D again are Jaedong and 4GG. So it's hard to say anybody else. I mean, it's very possible Hydra and Violet are just going to advance out of Group C. So we're going to have basically Group C and D will be probably 4 Koreans advancing to the playoffs. We're going to have 4 Koreans and then 4 Europeans make it into the playoffs there. So definitely going to be exciting as we're getting up through it because it's a week away from that kicking off there. So why don't we slide on over, though, because we've got SSL to talk about. Boom. SSL has the playoffs underway, guys. We did finish up the quarterfinals. We had TY, Zess, Biol, Innovation, Rain, Rogue, Hero, and Music there. As it stood, we had, as Hero does in PvP, he got there 3-2. So he will be advancing up. Rain kind of dominated up over Rogue 3-1. He will be facing Hero. TY ended up beating Zess 3-2. Biol ended up beating Innovation 3-2. So it is TY versus Biol, Rain versus Hero in the semifinals. Now, TY has an advantage because he can go back and watch those matches against Innovation and study Biol's play. Get some good practice down, so we'll see how that's going to work out. They're going to be playing on September 3rd, and then Rain versus Hero will be playing on September 10th there. So we're definitely having a Protoss in the finals, but is it going to be TVP or ZVP? That's the real question. So I'd love to see TY do it, but Biol is making waves. Like he had some great matches in his group stage, beating out Zess, Maru, and Stats to get there, so looking pretty good. TY, though, beat out Rogue, Classic, and Hyun, so he's no slouch on how to win out in those TVZs there. So that's very exciting with how things are going with SSL, but Code S, guys, we've got a round of 16 announced. We know who's going to be battling it out here. So our 4 groups have been announced, and they're coming up. We've got 2 matches playing, Group A and Group B this week. Next week we'll be having C and D. I don't know what happened with these groups, guys, but we're going to have one player have one match to practice for 3 out of the 4 groups. As it stands, though, Group A is a nice mix. Rain, Bibyoung, Deer, and Rogue. Great players, going to be able to battle that out there. Hard to say who's going to be taking it, though. Rain is going to be having to worry about another match from SSL, but being able to potentially compete in the playoffs for both would be super exciting for him. Bibyoung ended up beating out Life and Stork to make it into his group here. While Deer got first in his group, beating out Biol, Fantasy, and Sleep. Rogue, on the other hand, got second in his group, beating out Sue and Hurricane. So a lot of these players did very well for themselves. They were not easy groups by any means. Group B, though, Maru. He got first in his group, advancing over Classic, Bomber, and Trust. And he's going to be playing TVP. He's got Hero Classic and SOS. SOS, of course, just won MSI Masters. Hero set up in the playoffs there for SSL, so things are looking great for those guys. Classic, though, was in the same group as Morrow. Morrow already beat him 2-1. So let's see what sort of player gets second. If I was a betting man here, I'd say Morrow gets out and Hero's going to get there behind him. SOS, though, was playing very well for himself to win the MSI Masters, but Hero just got through to the playoffs there in a PvP, and he's playing another PvP. So we'll see. They might have more matches, match history and stuff to study. The same thing for Group C, though. Zest has one matchup to play. PVZ. Zest versus Buell, Dark, and Solar. So that's going to be cool to see. Zest, if you lose, we got to make fun of you. Just how it works, though. Same thing for Group D. All the Terrans. Maybe we'll have the return of Gone TVT, but as it's looking, we'll have 2 Terrans potentially advancing. If we're lucky, with Morrow, maybe we'll get more than that, but Parting is going to be battling it out against Gumiho, Flash, and Innovation there, guys. So this will be cool to see how that works out for him. I mean, Parting was already in a group against Sky High and MMA. Beat both of them to advance up into this round. Gumiho, Flash, and Innovation, these are some of the powerhouse Terrans that we've been talking about lately. Innovation and Flash were in a group together in Group E. Both of them advanced first and second in that group, so this is going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Flash got second in his group, though, but the only player he lost to was Innovation, so I don't know. We don't know how it's going to work, but we know that Morrow, Zest, and Parting are going to advance, though, guys, because they got one matchup to practice. If they don't, we got to make fun of them. So get ready, guys. But that's what we had going on for this kind of week's update. And SV Torn there was saying how it was not looking good for Hitman for the other WCS. Yep, that is true, sadly. Things were not looking good for him, but we'll have to keep our eyes open on how things go. We'll give you guys an update on WCS, on SSL and GSL for next week. As it's set up right now, the only event that we will be able to probably recap for you guys will be the NA ladder stuff for next week, because the rest of it is kind of a continual ongoing thing, but we are coming down to near the end for a lot of these tournaments, guys. Season 3 is almost done and over with. We're going to be kicking off beginning of September, September all the way through the 9th for the early group stages. Playoffs kick off for WCS on the 12th. So we'll be talking to you guys about how that weekend goes. So that'll be exciting to see. We have the semifinals for the SSL on the 3rd and on the 10th. And then our GSL stuff. Did we say when is GSL's matches? This week, and then the playoffs start on September 16th. All the way up to the finals being October 4th. So we got a while before the Code S stuff finishes up, but everything else is starting to wind down for it. Things have been going pretty strong with that, so we'll have a couple updates for you guys as it goes for that stuff. But again, we were just trying to do a speed run episode tonight, trying to make it short and quick, give quick updates since it is just me and not having as much discussion going. But I love having you guys in the chat to be able to start up the discussion and get things going on your thoughts on how you think some of the matches and stuff are going to be going. But sadly, that is going to be doing it for us this evening. That's what happens when you speed run an episode. You kind of go through stuff super quick. So a couple things to keep an eye out for, guys. The NA ladder event is going to be kicking off soon, since that'll be the finals for August there. If you guys have not read the Supernova tribute little update there on TL, check that out. Also, the Base Trade TV's Hell's About Time Afterthoughts is a great read. that just got posted up there, so you guys should go check that out when you guys get a chance there. But that's going to do it for us tonight, guys. Nice quick speedrun episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching. Hopefully we'll have some more guests, more of our hosts on next week. If you guys have not yet, please hit the follow button here, twitch.tv/TheRealNamMan. You'll know when we go live with SC2 Up and Coming. It is every week on Mondays, 9 p.m. Eastern. We also have been doing some other streaming related content up here, as well as some other podcasts and stuff like that. You can check out all of our hosts at Master Dalk, at Current TV, at The Real Nam Man, and the show itself down below at SC2 Up and Coming. Let you know what sort of projects and stuff that all of us are working on. But that's going to do it for us here this evening, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you guys back here same time, same place next week.